the edge, and they hit it out of the park. Our first event we did, we closed 90% of the room. We only had 45 people in the room. We had $500,000 in sales. Amazing. And then pandemic hit. Like everyone had to shift from live events to virtual events. Now I've been doing live events for years, so I knew I could do that. Virtual events, my closing ratio, not so high. So to say the least, I was nervous. But I was just counting on me. I wasn't looking at my team. I wasn't looking at the beasts that I brought in to support me. So I just want to share, we had 122 people live. I know that doesn't sound a lot, but you need the right people. You don't need a lot of people. We had 55 qualified people there to purchase, and we closed nearly $700,000. So I'm very excited to recommend my good friends. They're in alignment with your culture, with your team. They bring systems. I'm a systems girl. You got to come pack in. And so I'm proud to recommend them. I'm Susie Carter. I'm a profit coach, and I've been in this industry for 30 years. And so I know the real deal when I see the real deal, right? I'm just not a Joe in a diner shop. So I'm recommending my friends Jim and Cindy Padilla, and every team member that they bring to me is world class. So trust them. Surrender, because that's what I had to do. I'm a little bit of a control freak. I don't know if you're like me. Surrender and let them help you explode your sales. You do you, let them do them, and create a dynamite relationship.
You know, what I'm noticing, and I'm guessing this isn't such a big surprise, we continue to work together, is that the more I kind of lean on the resources that you're offering, the resources that you are, you know, the more I kind of get that I get to now be me. It means shifting from all the meddling work that I've done to, you know, all the small and crazy stuff I've done in my life just to position myself to be even visible, let alone delivering a product that's consistent with who I am, right? So now that I get to be a little more confident day to day that this is really going to occur, what I'm noticing is a shift in who I thought I was, you know, like there's a new clarity in who I now get to be that wasn't really available when I was struggling and fighting just to, you know, keep my head above water. Like an opportunity to readjust to, you know, a natural opportunity to readjust who I am and the offer associated with. It's disorienting in some ways, and in other ways, it's like, here's an opportunity to grow into the man I am here to be. And I want to thank you for that, and also tell, you know, people who are considering or about to sign up working with you that, you know, each time I run into you, it's like a greater confidence that I get to now be that man who I came here to be, because you're going to take care of all the stuff that I've been struggling to popsicle stick together in order to make work up until now. And naturally, my offer and who I get to be in the world has become more clear.
Without Jim and Cindy's guidance, I would be making a lot of big mistakes, a lot of expensive, timely mistakes, and I'd be spinning my wheels. And so here, they've done this before, they've scaled businesses before, and I just trust them. And so when I'm listening to them, they've helped me to come into my big vision, and it lights me up. I'm here to change the way the world communicates, and I didn't have that before. And so now I'm able to claim that, step into that, and then know that even if I don't have all the answers, that it is possible, and I feel that with every fiber of my beingness, and I didn't have that before this retreat, so I'm so thankful.
What happened was he talked to me about my business and how I could integrate the spa and along with my online business. I've been told for a decade now that I have to choose, and they integrate so well together. I was finally heard, and I knew at this moment that I had to do something a whole lot more with them than just this one little piece that I don't even know how I went to it. That's a whole other story. It was so awesome, I had to come back.
I was really looking for clarity on my bigger vision and my bigger why. I had a really strong internal why, but really needed to get clarity and refine my external why. And going through the Business Breakthrough Retreat, it really gave me that clarity and focus that I was seeking, and really helped me build that foundation upon which we can create that 10x breakthrough in this coming year.
Well, I've been a business coach and mentor for over 35 years, and I participated in many different programs. I've been a coach for other programs, and I will tell you that this program is one of the best ever. From other really well-known business coaching programs to brand new ones that are the latest cat's meow. Jim and Cindy have put together a program that's born out of the realities of building a business from ground up to success. You can't get better than being here.
When we met the amazing team at Gain the Edge, we were in a sweet spot. We were in a good place in our business. However, we knew we had more potential. And we had an upcoming event, and one of my business coaches and mentors, Dan Cashel, suggested that we bring on a sales team. And so we interviewed a few different teams, and immediately I knew there was a connection there. And I realized how willing you were to kind of help us with our upcoming event, how quickly the team jumped up and raised their hand and said they wanted to support this event. And what we realized was our best event ever. We had over 7 figures in sales. We had an amazing support system. I know there's no way on earth I could have done that on my own that quickly. And it was almost seamless for me. It was so beautiful to know that people were making a good decision and working with us, and that the team was there answering their questions, supporting them, making sure that they were a good fit, and onboarding them into our community. And since then, we've had
All right, let's get this thing fired up. Tony, let me know when we're streaming, man. Okay. All right, what's happening, everybody? Tuning in. Get my button over here. I got cameras, screens, stuff. So hopefully I'm pushing all the right buttons at the right times. Good deal. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What is happening? Why don't you type in the chat where you are tuning in from? Where in the world are you? And what is it that you're most excited about today? What are you here for? And come on, get yourself on screen so that we can see you. And I know we're streaming Facebook, on YouTube, in the Facebook group, on LinkedIn, wherever. So wherever you are there, if you're watching there, make sure that you type in and let us know live or recording. So let me know where you're at, and use the chat. Use the chat. Any questions that you have, type them in the chat as we go, so that we can answer them for you as we get moving. So we have team here to be able to help. Got Carrie in there and Gabby, and they're here, and Cindy will be here at some point, and we're here to answer questions, engage you in the chat, and make sure you have access to whatever you need. But I will not be engaged in the chat because I am trying to move all these screens and stay engaged in what's here. But my goal is to be through this in 30 minutes ish, and then open up for Q&A. So all the questions that you post, we will address them. I will make sure every question gets answered. And that if you're around to speak live at the end, then great, we'll be able to answer the question for you there. So Tony, are we streaming? Cannot see, cannot tell. Boom, boom. Oh, got some people coming in the door. Let's make sure we grab them all. Okay. Tony, I need your help, man. I can't tell. Are we rolling?
Hi, sir. From what I can see, we are at the moment.
Okay.
So I'll confirm
Good
that.
deal. All right. So, welcome. So glad that you are here joining us today for Own Your Offer, Own Your Revenue. Join us for a great conversation. Jim Padilla here with Gain the Edge, and we've been in some very interesting experiences as we are growing sales teams and helping companies grow their businesses with sales solutions, systems, processes, structures, and of course, sales teams, and then the systems that make them great. And own your offer, own your revenue. This is really the theme, and this is what's going on. The marketplace is a very interesting environment right now. And there's a lot of people with a lack of clarity, a lack of certainty, and a lack of trust. People don't know what's going on. They don't know who to follow. They don't know what to do. They're afraid to put messages out there. Everybody's afraid of being everybody's afraid of being too much on one side or the other. So we end up landing in the middle. And then, of course, that's a message that just gets diluted and people don't buy in because they don't know what you're actually standing for or what positioning that you are carrying. And we've got an epidemic of mediocrity that is happening in the marketplace with sales processes, structures, formulas, messaging that is out there. And essentially, what used to be doesn't really matter anymore. What matters is what needs to happen now. And we need to make sure that you have all you need to be effective, right? And it is time for you to own your offer. And that's what we're going to talk about here. So I'll unpack more of what that actually means. But again, Jim Padilla with my beautiful wife and partner in all things, Cindy. And we have this amazing company, Gain the Edge, that has been the go-to solution for done-for-you sales teams for over a decade plus. And we have learned a thing or two and by being, behind the scenes on some of the biggest launches and campaigns and companies in the expert space and in the service industries. We've worked with everybody from Justin Livingston to Catherine Porritt and we've served with Les Brown, Mike Aguilario, Bill Barron, Allison Maslin, Zig Ziglar, Kevin Harrington, and more, many, many more that you do know, and a whole lot more that you have not heard of either. So the key is that, all the way to delivering $500 million worth of sales results. That's five with nine figures, right? We've learned a thing or two. We've figured some things out simply because we have just come across everything. And it's been an interesting journey to watch people continually follow the trends of what the gurus, quote unquote, are doing. But there's not a lot of logic and reason as to why people do things. They just do it because they see it, not because they understand why it's going on. And it creates a lot of confusion in the marketplace. And we've been able to see on the back end what needs to be done and what needs to happen here. So what we have, what has led us to is this incredible finding over all of these years of having to build out systems, processes, and structures to be able to allow sales teams to deliver well. We have built this incredible vault full of data, tools, templates, resources, systems, processes, and strategies. And I mean hundreds. And $500,000 worth of systems, tools, and processes and structures. But what we've recognized and learned along the way is that tactics come and go. Tactics are like trends. What's happening now is a great tactic. What's happening tomorrow is a new tactic. But the things that don't change are the principles and the fundamentals. We lean in to the principles, and the principles are what solid foundations of growing companies are built on. And then the tactics are what's happening in the moment to be able to engage the marketplace based on what's happening in the world. And so this is what we have boiled it down to is our P7 framework to profit and freedom. And everything that we do to design a company to be able to replicate you as a business owner, the founder, to be able to sell is existing in these 7 principles, our P7 framework. And it's everything. It's the right pitch, it's the right plan, the right path, the right positioning, the right pipelines, the right people, and the right processes. And every one of these, when you double click on them, it opens up to a tremendous amount of subsets and tools and systems and strategies behind them all. And today we're going to focus in on the right pitch. We're going to focus on specifically the content around offer and what does it mean to own your offer and structure an offer that is compelling, clear, and powerful in any marketplace so that you stand out as the expert and the authority that you are, but the market doesn't. And that's what we want to hit on. So remind you here again, as we're rolling, we got team here in the chat. So any questions you have or any comments, anything we throw in, please type in the chat. Team will engage you there. And whatever platform you're watching on as you're streaming, go ahead and type in the chat there as well, and we will engage you either now or afterwards. And then, so I'm going to run through this. I got some key things I want to share with you. And then I'm going to open it up to some Q&A. So I'm not going to answer any questions as we're going because I'm minimal of my multitasking and I don't want to be in the chat while I'm trying to engage here. But then as soon as we're done with that in about 25 minutes, then I'm going to open this up and be able to answer all the questions that are in the chat or any questions that you have, and we'll take care of you. All right. So I'm going to jump in and just make sure you know what exactly is going on here. So the new era of selling that we are in, I want to share this with you right now. This message is about what needs to happen. What is it that you may not be aware of that needs to be in place? The things that are required for you to be able to have the kind of positioning and messaging that will lead to more powerful, effective offers. And we are going to be delivering a workshop on the 23rd, as you can see here. And we're going to invite you to that, that's where we will be taking the stuff that we're talking about today, and we will help you put together. You will be creating the offer that sells in the new era. And so I'm going to be spending the next 20 minutes or so here unpacking what goes in that. What are we going to do? So you'll know exactly what's going to happen on that workshop that you need to be at. It's a $97 workshop. Highly recommend that you join us there. You are invited. I would love to see you there so that you can have literally a point of demarcation. Know that how you were selling before that workshop and how are you selling after that workshop. Game changer and a timeline that's going to set your business on a more effective growth path so that you can collect more revenue predictably and consistently. All right. So are you ready to dive in? Are we in the right place? You're looking for more offer power, and go ahead and let us know. Type that in the chat and we're going to jump in. All right. So here's some of the key problems that we are seeing. And I'll make, I always say this, but it just always bears reiterating. Nothing we share came from a book or a webinar or some training or some really cool guru event that I went to. Everything we bring to you is from us being on the front lines, us sharing what we see, what we are doing, what our clients are doing every day, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're trying things and they don't always work. And we bring that stuff to you. We bring to you what is enhancing and overcoming the challenges and what is working to get the results as we are putting them out. We're consistently testing and tweaking and getting feedback and measuring data. So that's where all this is from. And so the CEOs, the business owners that we are working with and seeing on a regular basis right now in the marketplace, they're overwhelmed, underpaid, and not quite sure how to own their sales. So we're reacting to a lot of what's going on, and that's always risky. 2, their offer isn't built or positioned with a really strong revenue model. We're not connecting the offer to the true results it can deliver and what it can do to gain people into your business so that they see this as a part of a longer term solution, part of a bigger whole. And that puts you in a transaction game where you happen to sell one thing after the other. And that is a tough way to go and a tough way to continue to make regular sales. Are you experiencing any of that? Tell me in the chat that this is something you're experiencing. Okay. Your current offer is likely to be bleeding revenue and leaking trust and definitely blocking your ability to scale. Right? We want to get you in that place. That scale becomes the logical next step because your offers are dialed in and tight and they're selling the right things to the right people and leading people to the next logical conclusions. So some of the other problems that come up with this are every sale becomes custom. You start doing one-off opportunities. And when you do that, you're creating something from scratch and it doesn't have continuity. And often it doesn't have everything it needs because the first time you put an offer out, you're usually missing some components. And then it doesn't scale because you're always coming up with something new. Or the offer sounds nice, but it's vague. Does anybody ever say, that sounds nice? That sounds like really great, but they're not buying because they're not clear on why they should or what it's going to do for them and why you versus somebody else. And at the end of the day, the real problem is that it depends too heavily on you because it's not replicatable. And then you stay stuck in the sales. And we want to fix that for you. All right. So let's keep rolling. What is the importance of owning your offer? If you don't, someone else with less skill, but more confidence, greater clarity around the problem that they solve and a better messaging method to make it happen, they will take your clients and revenue. And that's a shame. Anybody ever see that happen? You ever see somebody who you know you can do this better than they can? You know you've been doing it longer. You are an expert of the problem, but somebody else is taking that business because they just spent more on marketing or they just have a better message that lands and resonates than you do. And that happens every day. You have to make sure that you are safeguarding against that and making that be a non-problem, right? Are you ready to end that and eliminate that? Okay. So here's the consequences of not owning your offer. Sales start slipping through your fingertips. That's not good, right? Because you're not seen as the only option. People are coming to you. They should be buying from you because you have everything they need, but you couldn't quite articulate it or position that inside of an offer. So they need to go and think about it, or they want to go to somebody else's more compelling offer. And that sucks. That's no way to grow your business. It's hard because here's the byproduct of that. Your confidence erodes. You ever feel like, man, I know I'm better than this. Why aren't people buying from me? Why am I not getting the revenue that I know I need? I'm good at this. How come they don't buy? Right? You feel like you're not the expert, even though you know that you are. And now you have this conflict. Then what starts happening is you have a constant rewriting, reworking. You start rewriting your copy, dropping your prices, reworking your positioning, readjusting your plan because you think you're not good enough at what you're doing. And so you start adjusting all of these other things. And that's not the problem, right? The problem is we need to get really clear about your offer and why everybody knows that it should be coming from you and that you are the expert of their problem, right? Because then you end up spending wasted money on ads and underperforming funnels because they're not calling to the right people. They're not speaking the right solution. They're not leading people to the logical conclusions of what happens in their world. Are any of these things happening to you? Tell me in the chat, or is this something you are experiencing? Hey, this is what we see every day from the marketplace, our clients, and the people we talk to every day. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. We want to solve this. Okay, so that's what we are here for. Here's what winning companies do. They don't sell programs, they sell certainty. They don't pitch features, they lead with outcomes that matter to the buyer. Don't show up as a product in search of a prospect. It is everywhere. People are selling features and benefits. They're selling why my product is amazing. Why does this work and grow? Instead of just speaking to what you know they need. You know they need. And successful companies operate with clarity, systems, and positioning. That's what we want for you. You have that level of expertise, and too many times you're just caught up in the middle. You're so close to it that you can't see it, and you need an expert to come alongside you and help you package you better. Because here's the reality. Your offer is amazing. Your solution is great. What you do is world-class. It's just not packaged very well. So it's not clear and compelling, and so people aren't buying it, or they're not buying it as frequently as they should, or for the price points that you know you merit, because the offer doesn't ring true. All right. So here's what Gain the Edge does. Okay, we are a winning company. We provide these solutions for our clients and as much as we can to the marketplace through trainings like this, right? We focus on trained third-party sales teams that have been responsible for hundreds of millions of dollars in client revenue. We build the systems that empower salespeople to be great so that they can win and consistently and predictably overachieve. And it starts from the offer. We own the offer like the future depends on it. You need to own your offer like the future depends on it, because it does. You have to be able to win in any environment, and everything builds from the offer. Makes sense? Write that down. Can I say it one more time? Everything builds from the offer. All right. So a couple of things to be really clear about. There's only 3 ways that you're going to make more revenue. You're only going to get more sales in one of 3 buckets. Everything else falls under a subset of one of these. You are either going to find new buyers, hustle and grind, go get new people into your world and sell to them. Or you're going to sell more frequently to your existing buyers, or a higher AOV, average order value. You're going to have higher price points or more sales in each transactions. That's it. New buyers, more frequency of buyers, higher or average order value. Everything else you're going to do is going to fall under one of those subsets. And what we see consistently is that this is where people live. Most of you are spending most of your time trying to find the next client. Where's my next sale coming from? Who's that person? Where do they exist? And what are they doing? And that's good because you need to have it. This is not an either or scenario. This is an all of the above. You need to be winning in all three of these categories, right? And you need to make sure that your offers reflect that. Your offers need to include that and speak to these components. You need to make sure that you are speaking to new buyers, to recurring buyers, and to premium buyers. And ideally, they're the same people, the same avatar who is just at a different stage of readiness, need, and desire. And too many times we have three separate avatars trying to occupy all of these lanes. And then we have just a sea of confusion and a lot more work than is necessary to deliver the success that you are capable of, right? Do your offers reflect and prepare for this to occur, right? Write it down, the yes or no, type it in the chat. Let me know if we're speaking to the right people. Okay. So let me show you just a perspective, something that is really important. Again, something we will address at the workshop on the new era offer workshop. Easy for me to say. And because we want to make sure that you have the right pricing models for what you sell. We want you to be able to maximize the revenue that is available to you by solving the problems that your clients need. And this is just an example of how this is a rubric that we put all of our pricing models through. There are many ways that you can make revenue. You can have a kickoff fee, right? An initiation fee, a setup fee, something on upfront. And that's, where people pay you upfront for what you do, or maybe for a portion of what you do. Then you can also have a retainer. A retainer is some sort of monthly recurring coverage, right? That keeps you on a regular basis with them. So it can either be something that you have upfront that's spread over time, or it can be an ongoing engagement. Then you have a tail. Tail is what we call the back end of the front effort. Right. For us, a tail is commissions. Many times, they're paying us up front for setup fees and work that we're doing. They have monthly retainers to cover all of our team and strategy and the things we're providing. And then we have a tail, which is revenue that comes off the back end of the front work, of the work we did to set everything up. So then we get commissions based on overrides, based on team performance, based on the things that we do. Right. Then there is milestones. Okay, milestones are when can you help a client, and it does not matter the field you're in. It's easy I'll be honest, it is easier for us because sales is something that is very tangible and very trackable, right? It is very real world material. But whether you're selling relationship, health, or anything soft skills, you still have to be, you're the one who just has to connect the dots to know that what they do it enables them to do something else and have a new way of living, a new outcome in their life. And that is what is monetizable. That's what they're paying for. They're not paying for your ability to navigate their health. They're paying for what their new health will allow them to do, free them up to be able to encounter relationships. If you're helping people with relationships, then the byproduct of the deliverable of your relationships wisdom should lead them to some new milestones and benchmarks in their life. And you can have revenue bonuses staged at those milestones and those benchmarks that you get to earn in the upside of their winning. Okay. And then performance bonuses. Right. So, and we have a client right now who's trying to get his first $500,000 months. He wants to get to $1 million months, et cetera. And guess what? We have performance fees, right? As we hit those benchmarks. And then as he hits new personal benchmarks, like he has not had a sales rep earn 6 figures in a year. Well, we have bonus coming when we get his first sales rep to 6 figures because that's a milestone we want to cross, right? So all of these are ways for you to earn. And I want you to start thinking about where does your services fit in each of these. You should have an offer in each one of these categories. It does not mean you will charge everybody all of these things, but it gives you options to start structuring your offers and your solutions accordingly. Okay. So again, this is one of the things we will dive into in the workshop. So we would definitely love to help you with that. Then you want to be thinking about monthly recurring revenue, right? What are the things that provide a good quality back-end engagement for you? And I'm gonna show you a different visual on that in a moment. But this is what you want to think about. Okay, these are the 5 core walkaways for you today. Okay. Number 1, I want you to simplify. Your offers need to be simple. We try to solve too many problems in one offer. That just don't cut it. That's not a thing anymore. It makes you very difficult to consume and to relate to. Okay, you have to figure out what is the specific problems that you are solving here. Which problems are you solving? Complexity kills conversions. Learn how to strip down your offer to its most powerful version. All right. Command authority with your offer. Right? You need to communicate your offer with confidence, certainty, so that you eliminate pricing objections. People need to know, based on the questions you ask, based on the things you share, that you are the expert of the problem that you solve without question, and speak consistently to the biggest problems. Right? We talk about offers, we talk about sales teams and recruiting and presentations and trainings. Bottom line is, at the end of the day, like we talked in the beginning, if you don't solve these things, other people are going to take your clients. The people who are set to work with you, but because you didn't show up clearly and powerfully in the presentation of your offer, or even how you position what you do, so you never got the chance to make an offer, right? Those people are going elsewhere. And that is devastating to your business and to your success, right? So I want you thinking about the biggest problems and making big, bold promises. We know that when you solve your offer, when you own your offer, you own your revenue. You become the orchestrator of your revenue, instead of right now running around picking up the crumbs off the table that other people are leaving behind. I want you to be the table setter and let other people pick up the crumbs off of the tables that you are setting and feeding at, because your offer is so clear. And that leads to great positioning, great conversation, great training, great videos and messaging and marketing that you put on the front end, because you should be marketing your marketing messages should come from the fruit of your offer, because you know what they need. Right? Everything we talk about on these workshops, everything we message and market on social media, in emails, and on interviews and stages, everything we talk about is in our offers. We talk about our products, our solutions, and the offers, because we know that they're validated and they work and they've got, millions of dollars worth of results. So we speak to the problems that our offers solve. And that's how we communicate to the marketplace. And I highly recommend you start thinking about that, because then you'll be crafting offers that cut through the noise, right? I want you to be thinking about the biggest, boldest problems that you can solve, and what is it going to cost? What does it mean to them to be able to solve it, and that you can charge for? Because here's something that people have big struggles with, and we will address this at the workshop. Your price is a communication of your value. When you are charging what everybody else charges, you're telling the marketplace that you are just like everyone else, and there's no real reason to take a chance with you. But when you price your offers at the premium end of the market, they know that you have something that they probably need to know more about. And it puts you in a position of having to speak differently about it, because when you have a bigger price, then you got to stand behind it, and it'll force you to start speaking in ways that you haven't before, because you know there's something worth talking about. There's something at stake. So you want to be able to package and position your offer to resonate with what truly matters to the buyers. You don't care about an offer. I know you don't. It doesn't matter. But I do know that you want more clients. I do know that you're tired of chasing. I do know that you want to have people come and knocking on your door, instead of you constantly having to go banging on doors for everybody else to find clients and then begging them to work with you. I don't want that. I want you to end that, right? We are here to help you do it. Okay. Then next piece is, you need to sell you and not your stuff. People buy you before they buy anything else. And what are they buying from you? They're buying the certainty, the confidence, and the clarity that you know what ails them. You know how to solve their problem. You've got the outcomes and the experiences as the expert of their problem to cure what ails them, right? I like to break some myths and be controversial a little bit at times. We got to eliminate the trusted advisor role. You don't need to be a trusted advisor. You need to show up as the expert of the problem. You know what is ailing them, and you know how to solve it, right? And then along the way, you will become that trusted advisor, but you can't show up as their ally. You need to show up as their leader, the person who is going to lead them to the solution, and a must-have partner. Right? No, there's no more watering stuff down. You either need to be great at what you do, or you need to be working for somebody who is. That's where the marketplace is going, guys. And you'll be able to communicate that in your offer and its positioning. Okay. Next is you got to build a sales ready company. You being able to make sales is not the same thing as your company being able to generate sales. Big difference. And you should be building your business from day one for other people to start running it. And the more you design it with strategy and structure in mind, the easier it's going to be for other people to come in and help you run it. And that should be where you're focused on heading, period, from the beginning, and leveraging the technology to do it. Okay. So one of the things I was going to talk about, we had a 4th of July, barbecue with our family, and our grandkids were there, and they were playing. Our 2-year-old granddaughter was playing with a balloon, and they were playing this game called Keepy Uppy, right? Keepy Uppy. Go ahead and type in the chat. What do you want to guess what the game was about? Does Keepy Uppy give you any hint as to what's the outcome and the experience that was going to be provided? Right? It was keep the balloon up in the air. And then, of course, Julia threw in a twist, and she said, when you hit the ball in the air, you had to spin around. And then you hit the next one. But Keepy Uppy was the objective. How clear are the names of your offers? Are you naming offers so clear that people know exactly what they're going to get when they show up? They know exactly what to expect as an outcome and as an experience. Most of the time, that's not the case. You need to think Keepy Uppy in mind when you are naming your programs and your offers and your solutions, so that people go, yeah, I want to Keepy Uppy. I want to do that too, right? And she did. She had all of us adults playing Keepy Uppy with her because it was the funnest game going on at the moment, right? We all wanted to be in that. And mostly because we wanted to win. We're a bunch of competitive freaks and wanted to beat our 2-year-old. But that's a conversation for another day. So here's the deal, guys. This is what we will be spending time focusing on in that workshop, and for you to be thinking about now as an offer structure. This is part of our frameworks. In your offers, you need an intro offer, a core offer, and a retention offer. Intro, core, retention. I don't care what you call them. They're, people I heard referred to as trust building offers. We've called them affirming offers, past, right? The whole point is your intro offer should build trust, generate confidence, affirm their decision to come in your world in the first place. You want people to get into a trust building offer, an intro offer, and say, yes, this fits good. This feels good. I want to know more, right? This is something that's giving them an outcome, a clear, simple outcome that is easily identified and tracked and measured, and then they want to know more, right? Then you have a core offer, and you can have a whole bunch of offers. We've got hundreds, okay? But everything has its time and its place. In your core offer, these are the places where you crush it. Your core offer should say, nobody does this better than me. We own this. I solve that problem for lunch. I eat it for lunch. This is no problem for us at all. Right? So you stand on this with bold promises. That's your core offer. Your core offer is we can rock it. And the goal is this is something that the better you get at it, you should be moving higher levels of premium for it. Right? Unless you're playing, the only way I will justify and be okay with any of you or any of our clients living on a low price offer is if you have crushed it in the ad space and you are Walmart and you are the low price leader. Because I don't want you selling something at a low price unless you're selling a ton of them because you need to be profitable. Right? So if that's not the case, you need to be focusing at how can we get to premium as fast as possible, especially in today's marketplace, because the middle market is being pushed aside and everybody's rushing to the low end or the high end. And you need to be tapping in to that premium buyer market because they just want great solutions at great value. They're not looking for the low price leader. They're looking for someone who can solve their problem for good. And that's you. All right. Next is your retention offers. A retention offer is higher degree of difficulty, okay, but is a game changer. This is the thing that most people don't think about. Your core offer, right? Usually your intro offer may be a loss leader or a little bit of profit. Maybe it pays for your ads or it pays for your marketing, it covers something. Your core offer, that's where the biggest amount of your lift is. That's the biggest amount of effort you are putting into your offer is in your core offer, which means it's the most expensive part of your delivery. So you build your core offers to deliver their solutions so that your retention offers is where you make profit. That's where you get the reward, right? You start reaping the rewards of them and the work that you did. And it's also great for them because it helps them protect their initial investment. So what are you doing on the front end that a membership price on the backside can keep them in your world for a long time to ensure that they get the greatest outcome from what they invested in time and resources in the front end on your major offer. They want the greatest outcome possible. And the small extra investment on the back end, game changing because it can keep people in your world for a very long time, right? Profit lives there. Credibility lives there because you get to continue to win with them over time and reaffirm how awesome the decision they made to come in your world in the first place was. Okay. Valuation lives here. And we focus on exponential growth. We want companies scaling and exit, build you as a class of one sellable business. And you know what makes a business more sellable? Monthly recurring revenue, consistent, predictable offers, things that increase the value of your company. A lot of members, a lot of subscribers, a lot of pay. When I used to have an alarm company, an ADT company, a dealership, and we had maintenance packages, right? People would pay $29, $39, $45 a month for their maintenance packages. And 99% of it was just peace of mind. People don't ever use it, right? We actually started building in GOAT maintenances because we wanted to make sure we were showing them that it was worth the expense that they put into it. But it was value. It made our deals worth more so that when a company sells, everybody wanted to buy it because we had a lot of people paying for that. And it speaks to people's commitment. It speaks to their interest and desire to want to stay in your world. And again, a lot of this stuff is just testing their commitment, your ability to solve problems, right? So let me ask you this real quick first, is what do you type in the chat? Which area here do you have nailed? Do you have a great intro offer? Do you have a absolute compelling world beater core offer? It works, it produces, it converts all the time. Do you have a great retention offer? Do you have multiple? If you're missing in any of these areas, that's awesome because we can start addressing that at the workshop. Right now, the fact that you're aware of it, great. Now I want you to put some time on your calendar to go start mapping this out so you can put it into play. But come to the workshop and we will help you take care of that. Okay. The reality of sales is this right now in the marketplace. Buyers are overloaded with info and you can't outsource sales to technology. People want to speak with humans. And it's going to do nothing but increase in that direction over the coming years because the more technology that gets in their face, the more people are just fighting to talk to a human. And you need to make sure that you have ways to replicate that in your business and in your offer. Here's the problem though. I don't know, I get it. Buyers are overloaded with too much information. Yet what are we doing to fix it? Putting out more information. And they don't want to deal with tech. And what are we doing to solve for that? We're putting out more tech. We're putting more real estate between you and the customer. And they want less. More. And then check this out for a double whammy. Most of us are using more tech to create more information. The two things they don't want. They don't need more information. They need solutions. They need offers that literally will solve the problem for them, not just teach them about it, not just talk to them about it and then hope they go execute. Okay, there's not a right offer. There's only the offer you make right. And as the expert of the problem, I promise you, if you put a solution in front of somebody, you know how to talk about it compellingly, I don't care how it's structured. It will sell. Right? Now, it may cost you more because if it's not structured well, it's usually more about how much time, effort, and energy is going to cost you to deliver it and for them to consume it. But if it's sold on the back of a serious problem that needs to be solved, you can't sell the wrong thing. You can't make the wrong offer. That's the good news. Now we just want to help you do it more predictably, more consistently, and more profitably. So make sure you jump to the workshop and we will take care of you. Okay. So here's the gig. Mastering your offer, it's essential for salespeople or for teams who are selling for you. And if you're a solopreneur, I got news for you. You are a solo salesperson and you're building for a sales team who is selling for you. So this, you don't get away. You don't get to, oh, that's not for me. No, it's you. You're both. You're the salesperson and you're the person who's building a business that someone else can sell for you with, right? So you got to be thinking about that in the beginning. And Master Your Offer is all about how to master how you communicate your offer with clarity, certainty, and authority. How well do you speak about the problem as the expert of the problem so that people know you are far and away the ideal solution? Is that hitting the nerve? Are you hitting that? Or do you see, man, I want that? Or are you saying, I am that? Now, here's my only pushback to you. If you're saying, I am that, my guess is you're probably not watching this right now because you're busy taking care of clients, right? So if you're here, it's because this is something that you need to embrace and embed into your way of being. And we are here to help you do that. Nobody does that better than we do. And so we are here to help you make that happen. All right. I could get this thing to show up right. So, hold on. I'll skip that. Oh, I tried to tie this to, I was trying to do fancy stuff on my slides and it didn't work. I was tying it to a spreadsheet and it's showing up right on my screen, but not on this screen. So that's right. We'll skip that. I wanted to get you to understand, and no, that's not working. Hang on. Gosh darn it. Okay, there it is. I did get it. Okay, I did. How about that? There you go, Gabby. I did it. I made technology. I made fire. I made fire. Like Wilson and Castaway, when he made fire, like he actually invented it. That was me. So I want you to think about this. We have what we call a sales team ready assessment. And it's like 68 different questions, all in different areas of your business and especially of your sales journey. And I just wanted to answer some of these. We're going to update this because some of this stuff is, we need to fine tune for today's climate. We created this a few years ago. But answer these questions for yourself right now. Is your offer clear and compelling? Does your offer have a strong message to market match? Meaning, is it speaking to your ideal buyer? Is it, when they hear it, does it cut across a crowded room and they go, whoa, what is she saying? She's talking to me. What'd you say to me? Right? That's what they should be acting. Does your offer solve the number one problem that your clients have? And then, is it set up to solve the next problem? Does your offer have a unique value proposition, or is it about your product? Is your hook irresistible? Does your bank account reflect that your offer converts? Right? Is your offer clearly matched to the pain of your ideal prospect? Have you identified the competitors in your space, and do you know how to outsell them? Does your offer have built-in scarcity? Meaning there's only 5 left. You can only have so many. Right? We'll dive into this. We will help pull this stuff together for you. Does it have built-in urgency? Right? Scarcity is about units, urgency is about time. So does this have a defined scarcity unit? Right? This workshop is only happening on the 23rd, on one date. You don't show up there, you don't get it. You got to be there, especially if you want our brain on your business, on your offer. You got to be there. All right. Does it have built-in scarcity? Meaning, not just like you only have 5 left if it's a digital product or something, but is there a limited amount of your time? Okay. The clue I'll give you on this: scarcity is built into your constraints. I'm only capable of working with 5 clients at a time. Guess what? That is real, tangible scarcity. That is legitimate. And you want to be able to message that and position it with boldness and authority, which also should help you want to charge more for it. Hello. Okay. So do you have consistently converting upsells and downsells? Not one that you've sold one time. Consistently converting. Are you consistently selling people to the next thing? Are you consistently downselling people to the next opportunity? Right? And do you have a client journey that is clear once a new client is enrolled, so they know what they're going to do, what their life is going to be like for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years in your world, because you're leading them to the promised land. Right? If you're answering, if you yes to all of these, then you should come to the workshop and teach it. And I will learn from you. If your answer is no to any of these, much less most of these, then you need to run, don't walk, and register for the New Era offer training that is coming up. That we are, oops, I got the wrong screen there. There we go. Right on the 23rd, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. so that you can start implementing your offer stack. We will help you build your offer stack. We will help you make sure that you got a good intro, core, and retention offer. We'll make sure that you have identified all your pricing models, whether or not you're using them. Once you have them identified, a crazy thing starts happening. You start selling them. Okay, so we want to make sure you have ways to be able to earn in variety of different ways besides just a one-way ticket. If the only way people can pay you is an upfront fee, that's great, but that's going to be limiting. There's a lot of things that you can do that don't always take more of you. Okay. And we'll help you dial that in. So $97 for the New Era workshop. Join us. The link should be dropping in the chat. If you're in any of the platforms watching, just type in New Era and we will get you the link to register. And if you have any questions, we will definitely talk to you and make sure that this all fits for you. But I want to make another invitation to you. Right, we do the workshops that we do are for $97 a month, and we wanted to be able to provide a way for you to be able to take a smaller test drive with us as a company and learn more about what we do and how we do it. This is not the beginner's circle. Everything we do is about winning and scaling and growing and exponential growth in business. But this is a way to get you a simpler taste, a smaller taste into our world for a low risk. The Business Builders Circle is $67 per month. And in that, you get this masterclass, you get the tools that go with it, you get a workshop monthly. You don't pay for the $97 workshop. This includes that. You also get a closing with certainty call every month with me or our world-class trainers, or you get an implementation, get it done sessions with Cindy, our operations team. So you are getting stuff done, right? All of this for $67 a month, right? I don't know where you're going to get anything better. We certainly don't have anything better than that in terms of a deal for you. That's the best deal you're ever going to get from Gain the Edge. You get $500 million worth of sales experience. You get 2 multi-7-figure business owners and a world-class team of badass people who are here to serve you. And you get access to that for $67 a month. I recommend you do that. And don't pay the $97 for the workshop. Just join us here and you will win month after month after month. And then at some point you will recognize that you want to work with us and you're going to jump in at a deeper level. And if not, then you just get to steal a whole lot of value from us every single month and crush it. And I'm good with that too. Okay. So I wanted to get through it. It took a little longer than I planned on, but I want to make sure that any questions you have, go ahead and raise your hand, type in the chat. Let's see what you got. Any questions that came up, Carrie or Cindy, that need to come to my attention? All right. For those live in the galley here, what's up? What questions do you have? What's coming up for you? Where do you see a place of being stuck? Deanna Flores Cochran.
Hi. I can tell you where I'm messed up. My area is so sensitive that I train, and all our hearts are in it. It's so messy. And I can't do time urgency. I can't do all these, you only get this much. I feel so, I've not ever been able to do that. The only thing I've been able to do in 20 years is raise my prices, which has, of course, helped. And I've always done free public education, but this whole thing, mentors have tried to get me to bring my program down to 2 months, to chop it up in 20 pieces and only give I just can't. So I think I'm the problem.
It's a very sensitive area. She deals with hospice and people who are in a very challenging situation, right? And you don't want to take advantage of them.
Well, no, it's
Um,
teaching people how to
Oh,
help
the
them.
coach.
So
God.
it's,
So
I'm
you're
teaching
talking
people
about
how
the
to help
coaches.
them. Yes. So
Got
it's
it.
like, how
Okay.
can I limit that? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you can definitely, because here's the key. If they have a payoff, is there a payoff for them by
Oh
getting?
yeah, they make good money when I
They make
teach them
good
what to
money.
do.
So
Yeah.
they will make money, better money. They'll have a better process, a better way to serve their people, better be able to position themselves and get more clients in this arena if they are operating in in under your system, right? Your training. So you
Yeah.
have to connect the dots to them from where they are and where they want to go and how your vehicle, your program is the vehicle that's going to get them there. And how much time do they want to waste before they make a decision? How much time do they want to waste before they decide that they want to be able to maximize their potential? You can
Yeah,
definitely
and
put some
I think
emphasis on
with
that.
your clients, your audience, they're so heart-centered,
Oh
right? So
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they're those bleeding heart people. So
And
you
they
have
don't want
your
to, yeah, they're conflicted about even making money, but they want to, but they're conflicted. So it's like completely difficult on every
Right.
level all
for
the
you,
time.
we just need to work together on that, on the value to them, like what matters to them. They want to be of the highest service. They
Yes,
want
they
to
do.
deliver impeccable hospice care, and they've seen people do it poorly.
Yes, they
Like
have.
you have to hit on those. That's the urgency.
Okay.
That's the place that connects the dots. And if the longer you wait before you get certified and you start operating at this level, then just there's people out there that you aren't serving, and that's got to be
Right.
heartbreaking.
And not just
Like
that,
that's
not just that you're not serving, but that somebody else who's serving who may not give them the kind of care you will.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right?
it's
If
all
you
true.
know you can give them that quality care, then you have to learn how to run this effectively so you can message it well and get in front of enough of the right people so that you can help all these people who need you. Right? So there's a responsibility factor for them. Because if you have
Yeah.
this gift, then it is your duty and responsibility to put this gift in front of enough people to make a difference.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to collapse on, because
Yeah.
it's tough for someone who's when the heart-centered industry like that. But I find far too often that people lead with their heart, but they leave their head behind, and then they're not very useful.
And they can't keep working. See,
Yeah.
I'm only to head on because they can't work and do the work that's needed if they are in this position. So
Yeah.
I've been fighting it and trying, but I can see where y'all's expertise would totally, yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a good question. Good stuff. Glad you're here. All right, Tyra, Tira. Am I saying it right? Tira. Okay. Any what's your takeaway? What is your lane? What do you sell?
Well, I'm a life coach
Okay.
for high achieving professionals that are in the second half of their life. It's a high ticket item. Most of my clients are referral based, but that's been a tough sell to try to continue to repeat. I've probably been doing it out of passion for other reasons, but the structures have just never really been there. And when you talk about, I guess, the different kinds of offers, that somewhat resonated with me. I've been working on my signature offer, but there still isn't enough entry level type things that would cause somebody. So again, I've probably faulted in, cannibalizing my programs, cutting down my prices, trying to get people in the door. And I mean, it's the process of creating things that people want. I feel I'm pretty much in touch with the people. Just have to find the right ones that are willing in this time to spend some money to try to get the help that they want. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just
What
some
is it that
structure
you?
around offers, I think, and different kinds of offers that might be the right ones for my business.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting to try to do all of it, everything. So, trying to get some clarity around what's the right hymnal for me, and for my business that feels right for me.
Right. what is, for the people that you serve, what do they believe they're coming into? What do they think they're buying?
Well, they believe, I mean, they believe they're coming into a structured process with a proven guide that can guide them from where they're at right now to some place that they're uncertain about. They're going to reinvent themselves. And they're going to, no matter what stage of life they're in, they're going to challenge themselves to either step off the success treadmill and reinvent their brand and their identity separate from some corporate identity that they might have and figure out what that is. And there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of uncertainty, and they're very, very successful people, but they're navigating something that they really haven't done before.
Right.
So they could be any sector, any level, really. I love working with different levels of executivity. You know, it could be a stay-at-home mom that's going to work for the same first time. It could be a CEO that's getting ready to figure out what she wants to do after a 28-year career. I mean, it's the same process that I use.
Yeah.
And it's really getting in touch with who they are and figuring out what's important and setting some guardrails around what that is. And then really doing a career search or a business search around where am I going to find that. I also find with women, I can't avoid the financial independence and agency around where we're at with what we've accumulated as wealth and what we might be able to do. And I also take a stand. Not traditional retirement has never been for me. I'm retired. This is not trying to be some six-figure business. This is it's not a hobby. I don't want it to be a hobby, but I want it to be a part-time post-retirement career where I can make a difference helping other people maybe do the same thing. So
Yeah, well, I'd love to see you at the workshop. We can dive into that. We can definitely put some clarity and some layers to that I think could really punch it up and make it really clear and compelling for people.
okay.
And then the more clear and compelling it is, the goal is to get you to a place where you can choose who you work with and how much.
Mhm.
That way you're not trying to scramble, and you can make a good living in it working around, part-time that you want to.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I'll say I was your ideal client in 2013
Mhm.
because I left Target Corporation and I had no identity. I wanted to cry when people asked me what I did because I was like, I don't know. Because for decades, I could say I was a Target executive and people were like, I love Target. So people loved me because I worked at Target. I was like, finally someone said, I think it was after, I don't think it was a year, someone finally said, like, you're grieving. I was like, what are you talking? This was such a new world to me, this whole coaching world. I didn't even know it existed, period. I got all my education from universities and then Target. I thought, man, Target is just making me so smart. But I found my mentor and I worked with her for like 5 years. I still work off and on with her. Like I went on a big rafting trip with her last year. She's still my guide, but like it was like I want that. So for you, we have to find for your women, what is that thing they want that they didn't even know existed that they can have because they see other women doing it. Because literally I saw my coach on stage and I'm like, I don't even know what she's doing, what she's saying. I want that. And I worked with her solid for like 5 years and I still work with her.
Yeah. No, and I think the other thing that you said that, whether it's real or for me or whatever, I know I'm the real deal and I know that there's people out there that aren't.
Yes.
And but I can't help everybody, and at the same time I can only just lead with my own integrity and lead with my own experiences, and my testimonials speak for themselves. And but you can be the best kept secret and still have other people being more sustainable than you or more profitable than you. And so you just have to break that down a little bit more. And in contrast, I'm a Bell retiree, but I didn't have the good fortune of, an executive career with them. I was kind of mid-level and I fought for everything that I got. And I was probably what I call now an entrepreneur because I navigated that system. And I procured my own coaching at a time when it probably wasn't. So I'm looking for people that are willing to invest in them. I'm looking for people that are like me that are willing to invest in myself. I fought the B2B model because I didn't want to get indebted to a corporation that was going to try to drive performance through my coaching program or something like that. And so it's really individuals that I'm really looking to work with. So
Excellent. I have some thoughts on that too. Yeah, happy to talk about it because
good.
I think that's there's some really good places that you can take that. And even just like, what's the tribe that you want to create? Because that can draw people to especially executives. A lot of times they're lonely. They don't
Yeah.
have peers. And you put a tribe together of some aspirational achieving people, and all of a sudden they're drawn to that. And then
Yeah.
they want to know how you help them get that.
Right.
So yeah,
It's
look
great.
forward to talking more. Glad you're here. All right. Anybody else? Linda Shively, got anything going on? Questions? Ahas?
I put a question in the chat earlier, and Cindy answered one layer of it, but when you're talking about all the different, like the tail of the offer and all of those different aspects, I get it for sales. When you're dealing with revenue and you're dealing with like milestones in that way, I'm having some challenge wrapping my head around from a coaching perspective what those milestones might be, what that additional offer is, because it depends on what they're doing. I can't guarantee that they're going to get certain results because they have to actually do it. And
Yeah.
so
Well, part of it is going to be around what you can hold them to, right? And that's also part of really being able to narrow. That's why it's so vital, like for you, selling joy and how to understand how to move through grief into joy. It's like when you narrow the lane of the messaging, then you can really lean into the promise because the promise is for the person in that lane. And when you can deliver that to them, and I know I always use that example of when I have that kind of confidence, I can trust my decision making and I can see the opportunities instead of the frustrations and the grief, then what are the things I'm able to do? Does my marriage get better? Do I get promotions at work? Am I just happier so I take more trips, right? And so you can build those things can become milestones and benchmarks. You haven't gone on a family vacation in 5 years because you've just been managing grief. Well, we're going to get you to a place where you're going to see the joy in this opportunity and you're going to move forward. And that when you're ready to take those vacations and you build it and say, when you do, then, I have bonuses built into there because those are big milestones and I'd like to share in the upside. And it's all in how you frame it and position it. People don't resist those things if you do it well, especially if you're delivering something to them that they have not, they've maybe forgotten they even were entitled to. And you're changing their life, that their husband and wife hasn't been able to, maybe they haven't slept in the same room in 2 years, or who knows, whatever the thing is, right? All these things occur. And you just we have to it's easier to connect the dots when it's a narrow line. When it's really wide, then it's harder, right? So you can pick the couple of lanes that you want to be able to target around that with the messaging. And then we start pulling them into that. So now we can build an offer around those particular benchmarks. But everybody's got those. And you just have what are the things that are most painful, that are they have so much resentment or regret or frustration about that they want desperately and just have not been able to get out of their own way to achieve.
Okay.
Right. This stuff, yeah, we can totally do it because you are set and poised. You guys have to show them it's like this isn't about not having grief. This is about experiencing joy, even though this is about living a life, even though, right? And they learn how to rise above because of what you're able to help them with, and that's worth a lot. That means a lot. That's more important for most people than making sales. Right? You're coming to the heart of the matter with people. And I think you're talking to the same kind of person that Tara is, right? That executive achieving person who is just buried in the grief and the misery of whatever the thing is that's going on. All right. Alyssa.
Yeah, I think I was kind of in the same boat as Tyra, what she mentioned about, trying to lower the pricing and all that stuff. Like for the client, I wanted to really get this client, and I asked about the variables about this project. Like, he wants a logo. But you know, there's more to it. I know there's more to it.
Right.
I know that he asked for a logo for a letterhead. That's what went into the call. I'm like, okay, maybe I should lower the price to take that into consideration. And my question really is, what's the best way to incorporate all that I learned today without having to really compromise value?
Yeah, I don't want you to compromise value at all. What I think is going to be really useful for you, Alyssa, is helping people see that there's something greater in what they're doing. And you can decide, do you want to be a logo mill where you're just pumping out logos for $50 or something, or their logo is part of a bigger presence and you specialize in delivering that presence, right? So now when they have a logo, it's part of something that means something, and that logo represents who you are as an entrepreneur, who you are as a business leader. So everybody, you know, your message to them, if I'm you, I would be making sure they understand that every time they put something in front of anybody in the marketplace, it needs to drip of excellence. It needs to drip of their brand, because it is their brand and they can't afford for anything to miss. And so there needs to be an encompassing brand that delivers a logo, but you don't make logos.
Okay.
Right. So now they're like, hey, yeah, I want that. They come in asking for a logo and they're like, oh, I get to leave with an identity. Right. So it's in that vein. We can work through that more, but I think there's something in that, because as a business owner, same thing. It's easy to go, hey, I just need a logo. And you're, whoa, whoa, whoa. You want a logo? You can go down the street. I don't do logos. I create desirable entities that people get representation of their brand. Do you have a brand representation? Do you have a brand theme? Do you have a brand strategy? They're gonna be no, right? Now you have some more things you can be talking about. So let's get that dialed in so that your logo isn't the logo. It's a true representation of the identity you want to put in the marketplace.
Yeah, great. Drip with excellence. That's it.
Yeah.
That could be on a shirt. I love that. Great
Perfect.
job. Thanks, Jim.
Okay. Good stuff. All right. If there's no other questions, if there's any questions on Facebook or in LinkedIn or wherever else, we'll get to those. We'll get those and we'll make sure we answer them for you and get you whatever you need. But take this to heart, guys. You need to own your offer. You need to be the person. When you speak, everybody needs to know, yes, that's the offer I need. That's the person I need. And you want to be, like Cindy said when she hired her mentor Kendra years ago, literally, she was like, I don't know what she's selling, but I want it. She didn't buy the product. She was like, I want that. I want that. And that's what she bought. 15 grand later, and about 100 grand later, after a few more years, it all started with, I want that. Right. And that's what you want. You want to show up as the embodiment of the thing that they're searching for. And they got to know that you are either it or you're the gateway to it. That's owning your brand, or owning your offer and your brand. But, all right. So put that into play. Put this into work. You got, a week, 2 weeks till the workshop. So see how much of the stuff you can put into action. And then in the workshop, we'll fine tune it and pour gasoline on it so that it work for you. All right. So thanks as always for trusting us to be part of your success team. Go make some magic happen, change some lives, and make a lot of money. We'll see you next time.